We're going to go ahead and review solving equations, solving inequalities, and also graphing lines today. Now, in solving equations, you want to try to get x on one side all by itself. Same idea with solving inequalities. So the first thing we want to do is distribute through the 3 by getting rid of the parentheses. Now, you'll notice on the right-hand side we have one term with x's. Remember, terms are things added and subtracted together, but we have two terms, the 12 and the negative 6, that don't have x's. So I'm going to put those together. Now I want to try to get x by itself. So I need to get rid of the 6 by subtracting 6 on both sides, get rid of the 3 by dividing by 3 on both sides. Same idea over here with inequalities. But there is one thing you do need to be aware of in solving inequalities, and we'll get to that in a bit. So we're going to start off by distributing through the 8, collecting our like terms on the left-hand side of the 16 and the negative 4, no like terms on the right side. Now I want to try to get the x's on one side, because you'll notice I have x's on both sides, and I want to try to get the normal numbers on the other side. So I'm going to start out by subtracting a 12x from both sides, and I'm going to take my x's to the left side. Could you take your x's to the right-hand side? Yes, you'll get the same answer in the end, but your work will be a little bit different. Now I need to go ahead and get rid of the 12, so I'll subtract the 12 from both sides. Now I need to go ahead and divide by negative 4. Now this is where you need to remember one thing with inequalities. When you multiply both sides or divide both sides by a negative, you need to switch your inequality sign, so we get x is greater than negative 3/4. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this line here. We want to go ahead and graph this line, first of all, by finding the intercepts. We want to look for our x-intercept. Your x-intercept is where you cross the x-axis. Well, you'll notice on your x-axis you're not up and down at all, so that means your y value is 0. So we'll plug in 0 for our y value into our equation, and then all we have to do is just solve that for x. Add the 4, divide by the negative 2. So we get x being negative 2, and we get our y value being 0, because that's what we started out with. Now we want to look for our y-intercept. Your y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis, which is going up and down right here. You'll notice you're not right and left at all, so if you're not right and left, that means x is 0. So if x is 0, we plug in 0 up here, and we solve it for y. Plug in 0, and we just get y minus 4 equals 0, so we add 4, and we get y equaling 4. So we started out with x being 0, and we ended up with y being 4. So all we have to do is plot those points. To the left, up 0, which would be this point right here. And then 0 to the right and up 4, which would be this point right here. And then all we have to do is just draw a line going in between those two.